Hello my dearest, welcome back to my channel. This is Maafeli. I hope everyone is doing well. I am back again to share with you another recipe. Today I'm going to show you how to make this delicious and super tasty sugar buns recipe at home. So before we get started, please do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Turn on the notification button so that you will not miss any upload that I make. Thank you. So let's get started. In a bowl, I will add 650 grams of bread flour, and to that I will add 250 grams of milk powder and also add 50 grams of sugar to it. I'll also add 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 tablespoon of yeast into the flour. I will mix everything together until it is well incorporated. Once it is well incorporated, I will create a well in between it and add water to it and begin to mix everything together until the dough begins to form. So once it is doughy like this, I'll go ahead and take out the spatula out of the dough, and then I will start to use my hands to mix the dough until it is properly formed and beautiful. Now that the dough is forming nicely, you can see that it is sticking into my hands. So at this point, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil around it as an anti-sticking agent, and then I'm going to mix everything together until the oil and the dough are well combined, beautiful, and it's no longer sticking to my hands that much. You can also use vegetable oil or cooking oil for this recipe as an anti-sticking agent. So it's not necessarily using olive oil only. So I will keep on kneading it in the bowl. Just look at the way it looks. It is so perfect and nice. So at this point, I'm going to flour my working board, and then I will transfer the dough into the working board. I will then give it a good kneading for about 5 minutes until the dough is no longer sticking into my hands. Once the dough is no longer sticking into my hands, you will see that your work is perfectly done. We want our bread to be soft, so we made it the softer one, not that stiff one. It has to be very soft and fluffy inside, so you have to knead it very well until it's no longer sticking to your hands. So now that my dough is nicely kneaded, just look at it. I will just shape it, and then at this point I'm going to put some olive oil in the bowl nicely and then put the dough in, because I do not want the dough to stick to the bowl. I will then cover it with the plastic and then allow it to rise for about 30 minutes. So it's been 30 minutes, so let's check on our dough and just look at that. It has risen beautifully. It has doubled in size. So I will take out the plastic at this point, and then I'll put my hands in to show you. Just look at the way it looks. Yes, it is so nice and perfect. So at this point, I'm going to take it out of the bowl and then put it on my working board. I will then shape it nicely at this point. and then I will divide it into two because it is quite a lot. So I'm going to divide them into 16 equal sizes. So each of them I'm going to divide into 8. So this half I'm going to divide into 8 equal sizes, and then the other half also I'm going to divide it the same way. So I'll cut my dough nicely until I am done dividing all of them. Or if you like, you can cut them more bigger according to your own preference. Please, I live in a noisy area, so most of the time it's not easy for me to bring you a recipe without noise. If I do not want any noise unless I do it midnight. So if I'm not able to do it midnight and you hear any sound of car or neighbors making noise, please forgive me for that. It is because I live in a noisy area. So once I'm done dividing my dough, I will now begin to fold them in nicely to form a ball, just like this, very nicely, and then I'll transfer it into my baking tray. I'll first put a baking sheet inside my baking tray and then put in the rolled dough nicely. So I'll continue the same process until I am done, and then the baking tray is full. If you don't have baking sheet, you can just flour your pan nicely before you put in the dough. So if you don't have the baking sheet, just do it that way. If you have the baking sheet also, just cut your baking sheet according to the size of the pan and then put in your dough nicely. So once I'm done putting my dough in nicely at this point, I'm going to cover it and allow it to rest for 10 minutes to rise. And it's been 10 minutes. Let's check on it and just look at that. It has doubled in size very beautifully. So at this point, I'm going to break one egg into a bowl and then I will beat it nicely. Meanwhile, I will preheat my oven at 180 degrees for about 5 minutes. I will then brush my dough with the egg wash nicely until I'm done with all of them. So once I'm done brushing them all with the egg wash, I will then go ahead and then bake it for about 10 to 15 minutes on 180 degrees. And then after 15 minutes, let's check on our bread and just look at our bread. It is so beautiful and nice. Just look at that. Isn't it beautiful? It is. So at this point, I will allow it to cool down beautifully. And then we have already even started eating it. Oh, this bread did not even last for 5 minutes before it got finished. Just look at the way it look. It is so fluffy, soft and beautiful. Just look at the way it look inside. It is so nice and perfect. And then as I speak to you right now, this bread did not even last 5 minutes after making it. Thank you all for watching. I believe you enjoyed this video with me. If you did, why don't you subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on the notification button so that you will not miss any upload that I make. And if you're a new subscriber, welcome to my channel. This is Maafeli, and always remember, at Maafeli we believe in the old adage, your health is your wealth, so be mindful of what you eat. Nyamre bua, yeke ye biako. Bye.